Are you a business owner and you're getting ready for tax time, but you haven't been using an accounting software? Let me help you with a Google Spreadsheet that I created that can bring all of your income and all of your expenses from your bank accounts and credit cards into one place to help you with that categorization. My name is Nadia Rodriguez, and I am a CPA where I help my clients with tax advisory and tax compliance. But my passion lies in breaking down tax topics to empower you to reach your financial goals. With that, we're going to get started with going into my website, and you can access this going through nadiacpa.com/resources. If you land into resources, you will see that I have a income and expense organizer for small business owners. Download that Google file and it's going to have you create a copy for yourself. And this is what you want so that you can keep it for your own records and you can provide it to your tax professional. Once you click on make a copy, you're going to follow the 4 easy steps. The very first step is to access your bank accounts or your credit cards that you use for your business and download all of the transactions for all 12 months of the tax year. You do notice that when you log into your bank accounts or your credit cards, there should be a feature where it allows you to download these transactions. Once you access that feature, make sure that your date range is for the entire 12 months. All 365 days, we're going to download those transactions. Now, if you do have different bank accounts that you use for your business and even different credit cards that were used for your business, you want to make sure that you repeat these steps for every one of those bank transactions and credit card transactions. Once you hit on download, you will notice that some banks, some credit card companies allow you to either download in CSV or in an Excel format. We want an Excel format, but a CSV will work as well. And I'm going to show you what to do when it is a CSV. Once you download your transactions, you would notice that you can upload those and drop them into a Google Drive folder. And if it's a blue icon, it's because it's a CSV file. But we want to make sure that you click on that and you open it with Google Sheets, because this is our raw data from all of our 365 days for the tax year. Now, if you do notice that it's in the Google Sheet, that is perfect. But once you open it in a Google Sheet format, we access that tax organizer that you copied over for your income and expenses. In the Import Raw tab towards the bottom, this is where you're going to drop in those transactions. Now follow these instructions. It all depends on how your bank transactions were downloaded. Some bank transactions I do notice that get downloaded as a negative sign for expenses, which is exactly what we want. However, if your bank transactions downloaded as a positive amount, like you'll see here, all of these are positive amounts regardless if they're income or expenses. Deposits, you will see here a detail tab or a detail column that has the words credit. That is how those bank transactions are categorized, whether it's income as a credit or a debit, it's an expense. But we want to make sure that these are converted to positive or negatives, but my Google Spreadsheet will take care of that. Let's go first with the first transactions where they are shown as negative directly from the bank account. What we want to do is copy your entire column for the date. This example, I'm just going to copy the first a few transactions, copy them over, drop them into your date column here. And then you want to copy over your description as well. Just make sure that you follow through on each of these columns on what the description or the title for the columns are. Here, this debit and credit column D, that's only going to be applied if your bank transactions come all as positive amounts. If expenses are listed as positive and income items are also listed as positive. For example, on this transaction that we downloaded, you do see debit and credit is the only differentiating factor. But for now, let's continue and copy over our transactions amount and we can drop them into the amount column. Now, the account name here column, this is if you're merging more than one bank transaction format and also a credit card that you use for the business. Just keep on repeating this process of dropping down, copying all of those transactions and dropping them into the same spreadsheet here in your tabs. Now, you don't want to replace what you've already pasted over, but just continue on the next available row. For example, this one bank transaction that I noticed, it has debit and credits here. You're going to copy that one column and drop them into this D column. for debit and credit. And then we're going to go and make sure that we do our date, our description, and also the amount. So you have to be very careful on making sure, keeping track of what you're copying and pasting over so that we don't copy and paste all these transactions over each other or duplicate as well. So you make sure that we're having our attention to detail in this example. Here we're making sure that we downloaded all transactions and pasted them. Now we are ready to spend some good time looking through every single one of these transactions and categorizing them. Now in the list columns, you will see that there's several categories that you can get familiar with the different categories for your business expenses, but where your time will get spent the most is Clean and Categorize tab. This is where I've brought over everything that you've pasted into the Import Raw Data tab. But here's where you go into each transaction. For example, we spent some money at Buc-ee's. It's a gas station. So if I go on to the drop down, I'm going to go ahead and select the one that mostly best applies to this transaction. We're going to put it as vehicle expense. Now you keep on doing this for every single item. Now we know that this is a deposit here, and I'm going to claim that as income for services, or either I sold a product, but I know that it's income. So we keep on adding all of these transactions over. I'm just going to make sure that for now, just for this purposes, I'm just going to start asking some transactions here for categorization. For your purposes, you want to make sure that you're spending enough time on analyzing each of these items to make sure that we're categorizing them correctly, which is very important for our book and records when it comes to tax preparation. I do have a category here, Other, Tax Pro Follow-Up. Use that as needed. If there's transactions that you're not too sure if they're deductible for tax purposes, make sure that you categorize them like that and you can have a conversation with your tax professional on that. I'm just going to name them so that you can see the power of this spreadsheet. For example, I have several that I've listed as contract labor here. If we go into our P&L summary, which stands for profit and loss statements, you can see here that we have actually added them all up for you. Contract labor, if we go here to contract labor, it's a total of $54.90. That's a sum of everything that has been categorized here as contract labor. You can see all of these amounts as contract labor. We're adding them up for you. And of course, we have towards the bottom, the other needs tax pro follow-up. This can clearly identify how much of those transactions you need to talk to your tax professional about to get clarification. Once you get clarification, make sure that you come back into your Clean and Categorize and update that categorization to the one that is advised to you by your tax professional. But with that, hoping this helps you with the tax preparation when it comes to tax season. But of course, I highly recommend partnering with an accountant, with a bookkeeper that can help you with better categorizing this every week, every month, so that you don't leave this towards the end of the year. But hopefully this helps you at least for this tax year. Make sure to subscribe for more tax tips to help you understand what to expect and how to prepare year-round.